Good morning. I want to look at the scriptures today. It'll probably be a wee short word, but sometimes short can be very effective. I want to look at today at a woman in the Bible in the book of Acts 16. Um, Acts 16, beginning at verse 11. But just to give you why I thought of these wee scriptures. I was thinking this last couple of days, it's good to share your faith, with other people. But sometimes, whenever a group of Christians are together, um, it's even better that the public is sometimes watching you, what you do and what you say. And this brings me back that a few years ago, not that far ago, but there was another two believers. We used to meet and we, what was it, the burger place, McDonald's, uh, one day a week, every morning for a couple of hours, one day a week, and we would sit and we would talk about the Lord, and but at the end of it, we'd have a wee prayer together, and we weren't a bit ashamed of this. We just, no matter who was there, if the place was busy, we just prayed as if it didn't matter where we were. And that's a very good thing to do, is to share your faith. You can share your faith by your actions. And I remember very well that as we've done for a few years, the meeting, and as we met, some of the people that worked in the place would start to take note. And maybe I would nip over one day later on, maybe so for a cup of coffee again on my own with my good wife, and the girl would make a comment or so about us. Where's your friends? This and that. They're not with you today. And but then one day, the guy come over and he actually says, I'm a Christian, and I was noticing you, what you were doing, and I'm not walking with the Lord very well. And I think he made an effort to get sorted out, and you could see people sort of paying attention. So it's a good thing to share your faith publicly. Let people see you pray. Let people see that the Lord's in your life. And I was just thinking too, if we weren't very young, I was just thinking today, if you added each, my two friends' ages up, I'll not mention their names, but my two friends, if you added their age and my age, it was well over 210, the age group. So we had a good time. I look back and they were good years. Good to witness for the Lord like that. So, and I was just thinking of this wee story in Acts with Paul and his friends. I'll read it out and you'll get the drift, And it says here in Acts 16, verse 11, then they sailed from Troas, and we ran a straight course to Samaris, and the next day to Epirus, and from there to Philippi, a Roman colony, which is a leading city in that district of Macedonia. And we stayed there for a number of days. Now, whenever they say it's a Roman colony, it was mostly like an army barracks, more or less, mostly a lot of soldiers around, etc., etc. And it says here, verse 13, and on the Sabbath day, we went outside the city gate by a river. And there was a place where we were to pray, and we sat down and spoke to the women that gathered there. Now it's interesting that you just see Paul and his friends, sitting down and talking about the Lord and praying together and beside a river. And these ladies was working there. They were actually maybe working with clothes, washing them, and working with dye, etc., etc. And they would take notice of them. And look what happened. It says, we sat down and spoke to the women gathered there. So they shared their faith with the ladies there. And a woman named Lydia, a dealer in purple clothes from the city of Tyre, who worshipped the Lord, was listening. And the Lord opened her heart to pay attention to what Paul was spoken by Paul. Isn't that wonderful, isn't it? And that sort of just natural situation where the Lord touched this lady's heart, and she understood exactly what they were saying. The Lord can use you like instances like that, sometimes we set out for to evangelize, etc., etc. And it's right to do so, but sometimes the Lord can use you when you're not known. The Lord's using you, and this was here. So the Lord opened her heart to pay attention to what was spoken by Paul, and she and her household were baptized. And she urged us, if you consider me a believer in the Lord, come and stay at my house. And she persuaded them. You know, that's a lovely thing there that this lady, a dealer in purple, she was a businesswoman. Why we believe it was purple? Because Roman colony, was one of the colours that they seemed to love, purple, like royalty. So she was a real businesswoman. But yet the Lord had opened her heart and she paid attention to what was saying. And we need that. We should pray for people, our friends, our families who don't know the Lord, that the Lord would, whenever they hear the scriptures, they would understand them, you know. And that's the biggest hold up today, is sharing the scriptures with people and them being attentive, you know. But she gave her life to the Lord. She got baptized, lovely, and she was willing for service right away. She invited Paul and his friends back. And do you know what happened there? More or less, a wee church was born there. And sometimes, like a house church, and really, sometimes I think we should go back instead of forward, you know, and things like this where it's really good there. But she loved the Lord, she served the Lord, she could see her faith. And actually, at the very bottom of this chapter, Paul got himself into bother, and it wasn't his fault, of course. But if you preach the gospel, sometimes you can get into bother and you get into prison, you get released from prison. And it says in verse 40, after leaving the jail, they came to Lydia's house, and they saw and encouraged the brothers and departed. So there you see a wee church brought to life. Again, if you're with your friends, your believer friends, and you wee prayer together, don't be put ashamed to pray out. That's really good to see, because people are watching you all the time. May the Lord bless you today. Okay, have a good day. Bye.